So, any standard domain user can request for a Kerberos service ticket and potentially crack the weak service account passwords offline. So, today we'll be looking into Kerberoasting attack. So, let's get into it. So, before we get into the video, I just want to say that this is for educational purposes only, and this Kerberoasting attack was performed in my own privately owned lab. And do not attempt it against the systems which you do not own or do not have permissions for using this. Now, uh, before beginning with the attack, so this is my overview for the lab. You can think of it as a lab architecture. I have a corp.local active directory. So I'll be using Kali Linux for my attacker virtual machine, and we will be performing the Kerberoasting against this service account, SQL service. So coming to the Kerberos authentication part, if you guys want to know in detail about Kerberos authentication, I have a video on my channel, so you can check that out. So basically, the user logs in and then the user is authenticated and all that, and then using the TGT, the ticket granting service ticket is requested and we get back that, and using the TGS we request to access the service whichever we want to. So the TGS is encrypted using the service account's password. So in Kerberoasting, what we'll be doing is we'll be requesting for the TGS and then crack the password offline. So by cracking the password offline, who knows, the password might be reused somewhere in the domain, so it can be used to further do some other attacks on the domain. So for the basic attack chain overview, attacker gains access as a standard user, and then attacker discovers SPNs, service principal names, and then attacker requests for these service tickets. Then what happens is the tickets are exported and then passwords are cracked offline. So in this whole process, you can see that there was no requirement for the administrator privileges and passwords are cracked offline. So coming to the SPN part, service principal names. So what is service principal name? You can think of it as a identifier for a service running in the Active Directory. Think of it like how every user has username. So every network service has an SPN. So to begin with the Kerberoasting attack, first we'll be requesting for the user SPNs. So we'll be using Impacket. So as you can see, I just have some username and password. It doesn't have to be the service account specific thing. It can be any standard domain user. So now what I'll be doing is requesting for the SPNs. As you can see, I got back the SPN for SQL service account. Next, what I'll be doing is I'll be adding just a simple flag request. The same command but request. So what this does is it requests for the TGS ticket. So when I do this, as you can see, I get back the TGS for SQL service account. You can see here it is mentioned KRB5 TGS and 23. This is the encryption type. So 23 means it is RC4. If you go for some other encryption types, so for AES 128, it's going to be 17 and AES 256 is going to be 18. So here we have 23, so it's going to be RC4 type. Now, what I'll be doing is copy this whole thing, the ticket, and then I'll paste it in hash.txt. Now what I'll be doing is I'll be using hashcat, and the mode, as I already said, the encryption type is 23 here. So 23 means RC4, and for RC4 the mode type in hashcat is going to be 13,100. So 13,100, and then the hash.txt, and I have a sum.txt which has a few usernames in it. So then, as you guys can see, hashcat completed the cracking of the password, and you can see here it says summer 2026 exclamation mark. So here hashcat mode, the mode is going to be 13,100. It is for RC4, and then hash.txt where I pasted this complete hash, and the sum.txt is nothing but it was a text file with a bunch of passwords. So you can use rocku.txt or any other one. This was just for demonstration purposes. And as you can see, we cracked the Kerberos ticket, which was encrypted using the service account's password. So we got the plain text form of service account password here. So on my domain controller, this is the SQL service account. And if I go into attribute editor here, I just scroll down to the service principal name, as you can see, this was the service principal name. You can see it here. And in my Kali machine also, what we got here was the same thing. So coming to the mitigation parts, how this Kerberoasting can be prevented or mitigated. So one of the things which can be done is set long random passwords so that your password is not one of those commonly used ones which are already in some random password files or something, and using the GMSA, group managed service accounts, and also AES encryption, because AES makes it considerably harder. I mean, it's not completely impossible, but it makes it very hard to decrypt the passwords. And then yeah, performing this, understanding how this attack works is essential to help defenders build the active directory environments even stronger. So that was it for Kerberoasting attack, and I'll be bringing up some more videos, so stay tuned.